Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Planning Advisory Committee meeting for May 10th, 2022 for the town of Quispamsis. On item 2, can I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
So moved.
Can I have a seconder on that? Brenda?
I second that.
All in favor? Motion carried. I vote of 4-0. Move on to item 3, disclosures of interest. None being, we'll move on to item 4, approval of the previous minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the previous minutes, please? Brent, have a seconder on that? Brenda?
I'll second that.
Can we have a vote on that, please? Motion carried unanimously. We'll move on to item 5, business arising from previous minutes. Can I have a motion to receive and file, please? Brenda?
So moved.
Can I have a seconder on that? Kendall?
Yes, I'll second.
All right. Can we vote on that, please? Motion carried unanimously. We shall move on to item 6, unfinished business. None being. We'll move on to new business, item 7, 178 Millennium Drive. Community Garden, 178 Millennium Drive, PID 303-19198. Could the applicant please come up to the podium and state their name for the record? Oops, I'll get you on. Okay, Dana, go ahead. Sorry.
Good
You're on.
evening, everyone. My name is Dana Duthright.
All right, Dana, we're going to get Jennifer is going to introduce the item for us online. Jennifer? Can't hear you, Jennifer.
Hi there, Mr. Chair.
Yep. We hear you now,
Can you
Jennifer.
hear me?
Yes, we can. Yep, we can hear you. Well, we thought we could. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Hello, Mr. Chair.
Yep, you're good. Why do we keep losing her? Are you there, Jennifer?
Okay. Apparently everyone can hear me. I cannot hear you. I am going to go ahead though and make my presentation for 178 Millennial Drive. Just bear with me for a moment here. Technical difficulties. Okay, so before us is an application for community garden located at 178 Millennium Drive. And they've submitted an application to the development officer. I'm getting a lot of feedback. I'm very sorry. So as part of a bylaw, this application, we have to do a Millennial Drive bylaw Development Scheme Bylaw number 17. That's what this will be examined under. So we will also be looking at a section 3D1 of zoning bylaw number 38 to approve this use as a similar and compatible use. And we'll also be requesting section 17H bylaw number 38, and that is to enter into a development agreement with the town. The subject lot is found in the business park, the BPC zone. Has 3,908 square meters. A community garden is not listed as a permitted or discretionary use in this zone. The lot is identified as being part of the wellfield protection area, and as such, would be required to adhere to wellfield protection regulations. The project should be reviewed by the Department of Environment to confirm that it is a permitted activity. The applicant is requesting approval to develop a 30-foot by 30-foot or an 82 square meter community garden to grow food for the Kennebecasis Valley Food Basket on the vacant lot adjacent to OK Tires. The activity would include public volunteer participation, the engagement of a summer marketing student from MBCC, and partnerships with local businesses in the collection of required materials. The marketing student will post the progress of the garden and highlight sponsoring partners on social media platforms. As part of the review, we look at the standards and what's available on the site plan. We did note that there was some information that was missing from the site plan, and that is a parking area that's dedicated to the proposed use, and I'll speak about parking in just a few moments, and where waste disposal and composting areas will be located on site and how they will be appropriately screened. A review of the standards of section 7A of bylaw 17. I'll just go over them briefly with you as they're in your package. The proposed use does not conform with the bylaws number 38, as it is not a permitted use. The applicant wishes for PAC to consider this as similar and or compatible with the use permitted in the zone. If PAC does provide approval for this use, the project, then this section will be satisfied. Staff propose that a setback of the garden be no less than 15 meters from the front lot line. This would be complementary to the area. Traffic, there are no real concerns with staff regarding traffic, as Millennial Drive is a collector road. Parking. We have concluded that the provisions of section 6P2B are most appropriate, and that requires one space for every 8 square meters of garden area, and that would result in the requirement of 10 spaces, and one of which will have to be barrier-free. It is thought that most volunteers will be visiting the garden outside of regular business hours, so staff are proposing to allow 50% of the parking requirements to be shared with OK Tire, the adjoining property. Therefore, the required parking on the subject lot would be 5 parking stalls, and we would consider the barrier-free parking spot found on 174 Millennial Drive to be adequate. A revised site plan identifying the location of parking area and appropriate screening is required prior to approval by the development officer. There are some screening requirements. I did mention those already. The subject lot is supported by town water and sewage services. We have no real concerns about an 82 square meter garden being watered, causing any problems to town services. In order for the project to move forward, the PAC must consider the proposed use as similar and or compatible with one of the permitted uses in the business park zone. The proposed use will provide recreation to those who participate in the project, and gardening Sorry, gardening is a wonderful outdoor activity that does provide entertainment and participation with others in the community, and it is considered a great way to build social community. The cultural aspect of the proposed garden would include an educational component as well as being socially enriching, and which also lends itself to cultural enrichment. So the town's bylaw does allow for a use of a recreation, entertainment, or cultural facility in the business park zone, and that's what I would recommend it being considered similar and compatible with. Provincial wetland mapping does show that the 178 Millennium Drive is constrained by a wetland. And has a 30-meter buffer. Therefore, the activities would have to be reviewed by the Department of Environment, and a WAWA permit may be requested by them. And if so, a copy is to be submitted to the town. There were a concern that was written in by an abutting property or someone in the nearby area. And they were concerned that the garden would not be fenced, and it is going to be fenced, as I understand. And the other concern was the buffer zone at the back of the 178 would not be disturbed, and that is not going to be disturbed. The concern that staff has is that the produce is going to be grown and donated to the Kennebecasis Valley Food Basket. And the concern is regarding the condition of soils that would be used to grow the vegetables. If the proposed gardens are found in raised beds filled with topsoil that is obtained from a garden supply center, the need for a soil condition test is not required. However, if the proposed gardens are made on the ground by tilling the soil and adding compost and other ingredients, staff would recommend that the Planning Advisory Committee request an environmental site assessment, including soil tests, to ensure no contamination to the soil is present. And finally, staff also have concerns regarding the number of available vacant commercial lots that remain available within the town. Currently, there are just 14 vacant commercial lots within the municipal boundary. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, thank you, Jennifer. Dane, are you, anything you'd like to add or discuss? You would have received the same package we did in the mails. Anything you'd like to discuss prior to members of PAC or the public asking you some questions?
Gardening, as we know, is something that provides extracurricular activities outside of the workplace. So that's kind of where this idea came from, was that we wanted to be able to give back to our community, to our customers, to do something for the good, to give back. We didn't want it to be a great big deal. I had asked Violet, do I need to get a permit for the sign? I didn't know I'd be standing here asking to grow vegetables for the needy people. But I understand where you're coming from. You don't want to set precedents. I understand. But I also need to have you guys understand that it says community garden, but it's not going to be open to the public. So there's not going to be a lot of traffic. It's going to be me and maybe the office girl weeding in the mornings. It's going to be, I highly doubt the guys, but if they go out, they're welcome to do it. I also asked Kent if they wanted to send some of their people down. He said maybe. So the requirement for parking, it's really just going to be me, and I'm parked there anyway. And 30 by 30, we will be putting in the boxes, because that just makes sense to me. I don't want to have to till the ground and put it on the ground. So that 30 by 30 space is going to be significantly smaller by the time we get our footprint in there to be able to get in with the raised beds. So there's that. I had already emailed Mark Bader, who is the gentleman that we deal with for our environment for the wetlands there anyway, and he said that he would review it and get back to me. He didn't give any information today. I also am not opposed to putting this garden in behind our existing building. There's lots of space back there as well, so that might help with any parking questions too. As far as where we will be putting the compost bin, it will be in our existing screened area. Any garbage will be in our dumpster. I don't anticipate there being a whole lot. Let's see. The only thing that I am questioning, Jennifer had stated that there was no issue with the water infrastructure, so I'm questioning why it would be a site drainage plan. I mean, that's very costly. At minimum, it would be $2,500, and I'm not willing to spend that kind of money. I mean, this is something that I just wanted to do in my spare time and our staff and to give back, so if it's gonna get that complicated, I'll probably bow out respectively. And as far as the 14 vacant commercial lots, we've had our property for sale for years. If someone wants to buy it, I assure you, I will sell it and plow the garden over.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think the drainage plan's more just if there's any runoff. I don't think I think what she talked about, it's not a drainage plan, just a sketch showing where the water would go. It's not really any complicated thing.
I
It's
can
it's
get
a
my
garden.
crayons
It's a
out
garden.
and draw the.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a garden.
So it's gonna go into the ditch out front.
Yeah.
But if you would rather us put it out back, we can, that's fine
It's not
too.
gonna go anywhere different than it's going today. At least it's going in the plant bed today.
Right,
If
exactly.
you plant the garden.
Yeah. So the other concerns that I had was the fence permit and the sign permit. I do have room for sponsorship, so if the town would like to be listed, I'd be happy to do that in exchange for those fees. That's something you can consider as well. The site plan that was submitted, again, it's just my hand-drawn sketch where the garden is on this. It can be moved around back. So if there's issues with that, I mean, I certainly don't mind. And as far as the berm being moved, obviously, we're not going to do anything with that. The fencing is just going to be that mesh stuff. It's probably going to be about that high and some bamboo stakes because I don't want it there in the wintertime. It looks bad. We'll take it out. It'll be in the way for plowing anyway if it, don't want to plow around it. And I'm a gardener at home a little bit, so this is kind of an experimental process. So I make no guarantees of the quantity or the abundance of the fruit that may come out of this. It might be an epic failure. I don't know. My garden did okay last year at home. But again, we just wanted to do something outside of work to get people outside and to do something good for the community.
It's a nice sunny area.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. So no pesticides will be used. I don't plan on doing anything like that. Fertilizer that's sold at Kent's, they're going to be providing that stuff. Urban Landscaping's come to the table with the soils that will be needed. And we have many sponsors in there donating topsoil or money towards the topsoil. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Nothing fancy, nothing and I'm kind of under a time crunch because ideally things should be planted by the end of this month. So if we don't have all our ducks in a row by the planting season, is it possible to table this maybe for next year if we don't get everything that we need to instead of having to go through this all over again next year? Is that possible? Food for
Right.
thought for you anyway. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah. Anyone on PAC have any questions for Dana? Is there anyone in the audience or online who have any questions for or against this item? Is there anyone in the audience or online who has any questions for or against this item? Third and final time, is there anyone in the audience or online like to speak for or against this item? None being, would a member of PAC like to put a motion for or against with terms and conditions, please? Want to put a motion for, Brenda? Against?
Say, let her do it. It's a good project, and it doesn't have to have all of these restrictions. You read through that and you're thinking, why would I do this? This is a lot of work to do something nice. And I'm thinking what we need to do is make a motion for the 2 or 3 items, just approve them, so you can go ahead tomorrow.
Thank you.
That's what I would do, but I don't have to don't know how to word that.
I think Brenda, of reading the recommendation, like I don't think it's too complicated on there right now. I think she answered all the questions, and I think all the questions are covered, answered. The only thing would be that would come into play would be the site drainage plan. It's a sketch,
That's,
and that you talked about the fence permit. That can be suggested that it's. I don't know if we can suggest that it's waived or not, but that can be worked out through the town. So, but I think if you read through those, or if you want to do that, or get someone else wants to put that motion for, I think we can cover that off.
again, I struggle with that.
Jennifer, you want to?
Jennifer has comments.
Yeah, go ahead, Jennifer.
Yes, I'll chime in now, Mr. Chair. And I'm sorry if there's a delay. I'm listening to you on YouTube and then pausing it and technical difficulties. Anyhow, because the project is occurring on Millennium Drive, that area is under the development scheme bylaw number 17, and it does require the development officer to approve. I think PAC can do their part and provide the approval for the similar and compatible. You could waive the parking requirements, etc. But in terms of approving the final project, because of the bylaw number 17, that does have to happen from the development officer. So you could include notes. This part of it is for you to provide your comments to the development officer, so you could make it known at that time that you support it, and all of your other comments that you think would be appropriate. Is that good, Mr. Chair? I hope.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. So a member of PAC like to put a motion for or against with terms and conditions, please. Kendall?
I can put a motion forward, and I'm open to Brenda tweaking my motion, because I could be considered one of those strict engineers. But anyway, the Planning Advisory Committee supports the development officer in approving this use as similar or compatible with a recreation, entertainment, or cultural facility at 178 Millennium Drive, PID 30319198, with the following potential conditions. Site drainage plan developed by the applicant herself be submitted to the development officer for approval. And assuming she's going to go ahead with the beds, I'll include number 3 anyway, but if any soil from the site is to be included in the composition of the community garden soils used to grow vegetables from the KB Food Bank, an environmental site assessment must be completed by a professional engineer licensed in the province of New Brunswick to ensure there are no contaminants harmful to human health present in the soil. And if you use beds, that's not required. Raised beds, sorry. Number 4, the project to be reviewed by the Department of Environment with respect to it being located in the wellfield protected area, as well as being in the 30-meter wetland buffer, as shown by the January 2020 mapping. Written correspondence expressing the comments from the Department of Environment is to be submitted to the town prior to final approvals. A fence permit will be obtained from the town for the fencing that will enclose the garden, subject to a fence permit application. Number 6, no structures or signs are permitted on the site without first obtaining a permit from the town. And number 7, the applicant enters into a development agreement with the town of Quispamsis.
Put that is not in that well-filled protection area, so you don't have to involve the environment in that project
I actually know Mark Bader. It'll do like an email.
very quickly?
Pretty easy.
Okay.
You're already in
I
contact with
messaged him
anyway,
earlier
but
today, and he said he'll have a quick review and get back to me shortly, so.
That's easier than doing the site drainage plan by hand.
Yeah. Can we have a seconder on that, then we can debate it? Can we have a seconder on that, then we can debate it? Brenda, you gonna second that?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay. Is there any debate? Now we can talk about debate in the motion. Brent?
Mr. Chairman, the only thing we should reference the parking in the motion and make reference based on the presentation tonight that the 5 parking, or the parking at, what's the address?
Okay, Tire.
Okay, Tyre.
Okay, Tara, what's the address?
174.
174 Millennium will suffice to,
Okay.
just so it addresses the parking.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. That's good.
Okay. Mr. Bishop? Oops, hang on here.
I
Okay.
just have a question, I guess, is there a fee for a sign permit and for a fence permit? I make a motion that, see if the town will waive the 2 permit fees, if there's any way if we can ask council for that. If it's gonna hold things up, then no, but just wondering if that could be added to it as well.
Thank you.
Motion now.
Go ahead, Brent.
We just made a motion inside a motion. Can't do that.
No. We can add those items on it though, can't we?
That's what the debate's all about.
Yeah.
We could just say, we recommend the town.
Waive the building,
Consider
waive the
waiving.
fence and sign permit
Yeah.
fees. Okay with that?
Yeah.
Everyone?
Yeah, it should go back to city, or to the town clerk.
Yeah,
or
we
town-
can't say
Yeah,
they
I
can't,
mean,
we
obviously,
make the
yeah.
recommendations that they,
We just recommend they consider it.
yeah, exactly. I think any further debate? Can we vote on that motion, please? You want, go ahead, Brent.
Can you read?
That's what I'm just trying to catch up here. Okay, well, thanks. Okay, so you're removing the requirement for the revised site plan, but you're keeping the 5 parking spaces on that subject lot plus the other 5 that are required from 174 Millennium Drive.
Just the 5 parking spots on 174. Based on tonight's presentation, the parking at 174 should suffice. Shouldn't be
Okay.
a parking requirement on 178.
Okay, so only 5 are required. Things out, it's only staff, okay? Site drainage plan is designed by the applicant. We'll change that one. And the soils, you pretty much left that so that if there's anything being used from the ground, it has to be tested, otherwise it's not required.
It's not required if she has raised beds.
Correct, yep. The project is gonna be reviewed by the DOE. That's already there, that's staying. The fence permit, with the addition that you're going to request the town waives the charges.
Consider.
Consider waiving the application fee.
Okay. And then the applicant enters into a development agreement with the town.
Yep.
Okay,
If
In a
staff
nutshell.
have any concerns with what we put forward.
Any concerns with what we put forward there, Jennifer? Okay.
we're both typing back to her.
Gotta fix that delay.
She's got 2 meetings open. And it didn't work the first time, I assume she's set up the second.
Dana, in the meantime, is that okay, what we talked about?
I think that's great, thank you.
Hi there, Mr. Chair. Sorry about the delay. The only concern I have is that there was a development agreement that was also part of the condition. I don't know if that was addressed.
Yes, it was. Can we vote on that motion, please? Motion carried unanimously. In 5 to 7 business days, you have a letter in the mail, so please work with the town to get all your necessary paperwork in place, and excellent project, and best of luck.
Could you send in an application for the fence and the sign permit as soon as possible?
I certainly will.
I know we have the designs, but we don't have the application.
Yeah, and as soon as I get that email back from Mark, I'll be sure to send that along as well. And the sign and the fence permit is based on the size, correct, as far as the cost goes that's associated with it? Okay, all right, great, well, thank you.
What does that cost, those permits?
It depends on the project, I mean, we're putting up deer fencing, you're gonna be looking at approximately $50.
$50
Yeah.
for both of them?
The sign depends on the size, and they do count both sides if you're using a two-sided sign, it's by square footage.
Yeah.
So you have to calculate that. Signage can go up to 300, but again, depending on the size.
And we'd be happy to list Town of Quispamsis as a sponsor too. We have room on our sign.
Brenda's gonna make a donation, he's there for the sign.
There you go. Come and get it. It's not worth the grief.
There you go. Here, I'll cover
Now
the
I'm
rest
broke.
of it. There you go. I'll cover the rest of it. If they waive it, they want their money back.
So you get it.
Put it to seed.
It's a good project.
There you go. So,
Who knows, maybe it'll grow into something larger and, yeah, that's wonderful. Well, thank you. Then nice to see everybody.
Great.
yeah,
Thank you.
good luck. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, with that being said, we'll move on to item 7B, 170 Hampton Road, outside patio, similar compatible, an application for a seasonal patio as a discretionary use at 170 Hampton Road, PID 00255232. Could the applicant please come up and state their name for the record? And Jennifer, can you introduce this item, please? Oops, there you go.
My name's Nicola Sutherland, and I'm the operations manager for the Grannon Group. So I oversee Mexi's in our locations in town, Churchill's, Grannon's, and our catering division.
Thank you. Jennifer will introduce this item, and then we'll have some discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay. Now I'm going to introduce to you, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm going to introduce to you an application for a seasonal patio to be located at 170 Hampton Drive. Um, It is an outdoor patio is not listed as a permitted or discretionary use in the central commercial zone, and therefore it would have to be reviewed as similar or compatible with an existing use, with the existing use in the main building. We'll also be looking at section 12B1F of zoning bylaw number 38, as it states that no use permitted under section 12B1 may be established or conducted except in a completely enclosed building. And we'll also be looking at section 6J of zoning bylaw number 38, which requires a buffer zone in the case of a commercial zone abutting on an I zone or a residential zone, which this lot does abut a residential zone at the back. So we did receive an application from Mexi's Restaurant to install the seasonal outdoor patio in front of the existing building. The patio is listed, it is not listed as a permitted use, as I already said, and we'll be looking at that as section 3D1, similar and compatible. The main building in the restaurant, the main use in the building is a restaurant, and it is a discretionary use subject to terms and conditions as issued by the planning committee. In 2021, the planning committee also reviewed an application for a rooftop patio at the same location. At that time, staff were able to determine that there were 65 approved parking stalls on site. The site plan that was provided did identify 76 parking stalls. So there were a few have been added to the back. So we would need to have a little more detail to ensure that there was adequate drive aisles, and these stalls that were provided were the size that's required by the zoning bylaw. What the proponents are suggesting is that they remove 2 parking stalls from the front and place tables there. So staff would recommend, though, that we would need to approve those parking stalls, the 11 additional ones that are found at the back. So we would need like I said, a site plan that identifies those in the drive aisles. If that is too much or would take too much time, what I would recommend is that the Mexi's Restaurant would remove the same amount of chairs from the inside of the building as they're putting outside of the buildings to ensure that the parking is met and it isn't exceeded. The area's become quite busy with the introduction of the new rooftop patio and with the new restaurant there. And I do have some concerns about the location of where the patio is proposed to be. The site plan didn't quite contain enough details for to make a sound decision on if there's enough space there to accommodate both vehicular traffic and patrons seated. I went by the site today and found that it was quite tight, but all that to say that I would require some measurements that would identify that there's enough space to safely put people at chairs and serve them in the great, wonderful outdoors. And I would suggest that once we do receive the measurements that are required to make that determination, that it be reviewed by engineering. They're the ones that that could make that determination if there would be enough space there. So I'm going to recommend at this time that we table this, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. For the applicant, you would have received the same package we did in the mail? And is there anything you'd like to add or discuss? I know you sent in a letter, but maybe you can go ahead and discuss that if you want to, or? you're on.
Okay. Yes, so my job is constantly troubleshooting and figuring things out. So every day changes. Today I had a genius idea. If you knew me, you wouldn't be surprised. But, so things are a little bit different. So with the original drawing that I didn't put down the measurements because I had a really good idea that I just needed to run by Dino. Because he's our landlord and he needs to approve this stuff before I would even think about trying to bring it to you. So today, do you have a copy of my drawing? Because I have multiple copies if you don't.
No, we only have this.
Okay, so I had sent in a drawing, if it's okay for me to show you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So, maybe I'll give you, I have 2 copies for myself.
We can give them back to you.
I have 2, I made 2 copies for myself. I only made like 1 extra of each.
Okay, so we'll pass that down that way to have a look at.
There's option A and then there's option B. Obviously, option A is my preferred.
Oh, there's 2, they're both,
There's one with a split patio and then one with just one location.
yeah, hang on, they're both different there?
Okay.
So today, I proposed to Dino that I actually gain an extra parking spot, and I put one. If you look at my picture, it has 1 and 2, and then it has the patio. That actually is a handicap parking spot that we proposed to move to the front where it says HC by spot 73 and 74. And then if you look on my preferred option, I'd be looking at using parking spot 3 as well. So we'd be doing a split patio to walk into the restaurant. I'm not sure if you guys have been there. I hope you have. But you walk in and creating like a vibe and a culture of having like a patio on either side. I think that it would maybe, I don't know want to say that it would reduce congestion. I do have a side entrance that I did put back in my responses that they use as the old takeout door for Pizza Delight.
Yep.
Yeah, obviously alcohol won't be coming out through that, but if we're removing those, would it be 11 spots? Is that what she said I would need to remove? Or is that what Jennifer said?
Yours
I-
plan has 11 additional from Dino's plan.
Yeah, so in the back, none of that's lined, and there's at least 11 to 13 spots back there that staff would be using, so that wouldn't be taking anything away from the general public. And there probably could be more, but I would say that we could at least line 11 to 13 properly. So with that being said, we have the possibility of having 5 tables on the larger side where we would just move the handicap location. I'm not sure if that's okay, but Dino seemed to think that it was fine when I spoke with him about it. And then we'll have another little patio station on the side that's more of like a private patio area.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think there will be a lot of congestion if I'm removing seats. Like the main focus, honestly, when you have a patio is the patio, and the inside kind of takes the sidecar for a bit. So if we are bringing our beverages out through the main entrance and food out through the side, I don't see it being an issue. We have a really great waitlist system, and not very many people are actually staying in our restaurant and in the vestibule. They're put on the wait list, they get sent a text message when the table's ready, and they come back.
Okay.
I do have the measurements too, actually, for what she was asking about. I put them on the bottom. So on the right, I'd be going a foot in on either side, obviously to accommodate doors and everything else, proper fencing, whatever it is that you prefer. We're flexible, whatever you think we need to have. We're gonna wanna have safety. But I think that if we go a foot in on either side where there's gonna be vehicles, everyone's getting out safely, and for traffic, I have had the luxury of putting patios uptown. I know it's completely different. On two-way streets, I had one on the front of the Gahan House previously when I was there, and then one on Water Street. That is a very high traffic area. We were the first to put one down there, and then to follow, I believe that there was the bunkhouse and then another small patio there as well. I think the speed limit's about 50 on Water Street, and we all know that it's very busy. And everyone was safe, and I never had any issues.
Okay, Jennifer, were you able to see those 2 documents that were sent in today, or? She's still on delay.
You send those drawings in today?
I just made
Hello,
them.
Mr. Chair.
Sorry, that's why I brought them in. I didn't realize. Well, the first one I sent in originally.
I saw the responses. I'm not sure that I received the plan A and B.
Okay, yeah,
I don't
shoot.
think I saw plan A, the B plan, where it's on both sides. I'm pretty sure I haven't.
Yeah, sorry, Jennifer. No, they were just brought in this evening, so. And one thing we should note from a PAC perspective is that there was a patio there before. So just want to bring that to PAC's attention. It was there for Pizza Delight, so we can keep that in mind. It used to be there before, so. Mr. Bishop,
Yeah, I guess that's my comment is that in the past, or I don't know if you knew that or not, but there
No,
was
I
a
didn't.
patio there before that was approved by PAC. It was standing looking at the building, right side of the door to the takeaway door, and it was, I mean, there's pictures on Google Maps of it. So it had a, small, fence around it, so I think it was serviced through the takeout door. I'm not sure how many tables were there, but there was one there in the past, so I guess that's my question is that what you looking like here is you're going left of the door, looking at the building is where you're looking to put the patio. So I didn't know whether you knew before there was a patio there before or not, but it was right side and then again service through, which would, in my mind, would make more traffic flow, more sense through the takeout door. They would come in and out of there and service it so that there's nobody blocking the front door and that sort of thing. I'm just comment, I guess, to you.
My only concern with that is that we just spent a lot of money and a lot of time on that beautiful mural, and it is so eye-catching that if I do that and I put up umbrellas and umbrellas and everything else, it's going to take away from it. So if I can just shift it over on that one kind of private patio spot that I'm thinking in my head, I'm not going to put umbrellas there if I don't have to, but it will be far enough over that it's not going to take away from the aesthetics. I mean, I think everyone can agree how much talk that mural got, obviously, how much talk the mural got, and it would just be a shame for us to take that away. So I do wholeheartedly think that we could service it properly, and I just, yeah, I don't see us being able to shift it over and just take away from that mural. It would be a shame.
and I think Darren would just, we were bringing up that there was
Yeah.
one there, but
I
no,
never
there was
knew
one there
that. No,
before,
I'd never
so.
heard that ever, actually.
So.
How long ago was that?
2013 on 2013 Google for sure. Might
2013.
have been there for, I don't know how many years, but it was
How
there.
many? You didn't remember how many seats or how many tables were on it?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go on, just go on Google Street View, go back, you can scroll back to like 5 or 10 years in 2013, I think it's 2013.
I'll make
I don't know when
I'll
it
make a note.
disappears after, depending when the picture was taken. They may have taken it down in the winter, that's all. So.
Okay.
So, did you say you have to talk to Dino? You got some more work to do, or no?
No, Dino approved the second spot that he had originally only approved me for. That's why my drawing's a little bit different. I kind of asked him for an extra one today, and he agreed.
Okay.
So the original drawing that I had sent in with the application was just for that one larger parking spot by parking 1 and 2. He said that I could have parking 3 today. So that's why I kind of shifted things around. But he was very happy. We had a good conversation, and he was happy to accommodate that.
Okay. Is there any further questions for the applicant from PAC? Brenda?
Just a quick comment. I know the ones that you have on the side, not the double row that's in the parking lot, but the one behind the building, Michi's, that's 5 spaces, not 4.
Dino's taking one away. So that's why I didn't account for it. He told me that.
Oh, not giving it away, but it counts as a parking spot.
Okay, so yeah, I took it away because he said he wouldn't be using it technically as parking. He's going to be using it for aesthetics.
Okay.
So I will add, so that technically, if we get all the parking spots that I put in the back, that puts us at 77.
And down the other side of the building, I was walking, I think there's 15 spots there, not 14.
Well, look at you. Love it.
Just saying.
15.
And by the side of the building, where they're close to the
One of them
road.
isn't lined, so
You
that's
can
why I
fit
didn't count
some
it,
there.
yeah.
You what?
I think one of them wasn't lined, so that's why I didn't count it.
Yeah, one of them is on the end, but
Yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
things disappear because the dirt's come over the pavement and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. And anyway, so I don't have a problem, hopefully council would not, or engineering, because that's a paved area on the back of the building also, where you're looking at staff. I don't know why an engineer would have to look at that. It's asphalt, it's not, you know,
Okay, thank you.
trucks go on that, no other thing. And to me, I would like to see all of this development very busy. So people look and say, that's a happening spot. So I support what you're doing. So whatever we can do to help you out.
Appreciate
Well,
that.
not money. That's,
I'm
I've
not
done
getting,
that.
I'm not getting money out of this. Come on,
I'm done
guys.
with that tonight. So. But I don't think, to me, parking is not an issue.
Parking isn't an issue for you?
Parking
No?
is not,
Okay.
should not be an issue. Everyone wants to park right next to the door.
And a lot of people are telling me they plan on walking there all summer long.
You what?
Everyone keeps telling me they're going to be walking there all summer long.
Yeah, that's a nice walk,
Yeah,
you know, and you have a nice walk home. You can
exactly.
rock that off what you ate. So anyway, it's there's lots of parking.
Thanks, Brenda. Mr. Bishop. Oops, hang on, Mr. Bishop.
Yeah, I guess so. How do you plan to, I guess enclose this area or fence this, the patio? Right? Is there?
So
What
I think
thoughts?
what our plan would be either wood, like we can wood rail it, whatever you think is safest, or we can do a metal glass rail. Clearly, metal glass is aesthetically pleasing, but wood would be just as nice. So whatever you think would be the safest for the community, we're okay with.
And so just again to reiterate, so you plan to come and go with drinks out the main door and to the right?
Yes,
They come out the
the
door?
main door, we don't have a lot of people waiting there ever. Like I said, we send them on their way. They honestly go to Amici's, have a beer, and wait for their text to come back.
Okay. I still think the other side's better, but that's fine.
Yes,
Brent?
yeah, Mr. Chair. We didn't see the drawing, so
Sorry.
that's okay.
Do you want mine?
Yeah, you got drawings right there.
Do you want me? I can bring mine over for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I gave him 2 copies, didn't
That's
I?
the original.
So
Oh,
this is like
jeez.
the split.
I thought
And this is
there's
the
two different ones, right?
So this is what I originally proposed, and then when he said I could have the second one, I thought how nice it would be if I could just like create a vibe.
So it's just another.
Yeah, just a little side guy.
Yeah, but what,
I figured I might need to explain my
but
drawing
what,
to
but
you.
what happens to your handicap spot in front of the door?
I moved it over here.
It's already there.
No, it's not. I put in my original proposal, I'll be moving it. Up
Oh,
here.
okay. Looking at this drawing, it shows it there.
Yeah, I had said, I think maybe up here, or in my email, that I'd be having that painted and moved, if you guys approved it. And it's readily accessible for, probably a little bit more accessible.
You need those, Violet, for the file?
So basically 5 tables on this side, 2 tables on this side, is that the way? I'm reading
I
this?
think ideally, yeah, I'd get like a table of 8, up to 8 people there if I push them together.
Sorry, Brent, I thought you guys had the copy.
No, it's okay.
We'll give them,
I got a copy for the file.
yeah. Any further questions, Brent, or any concerns, or?
So my only other question is, who regulates handicap parking? Is it the town, or is that public safety, or is that a provincial department, or?
Got a couple of questions, so. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Hi, Mr. Chair. I assume you're still waiting for me. The parking is regulated by the province. However, it's also in our bylaw, the measurements that are required for a handicap parking stall or a barrier-free parking stall, which it's referred to as now. I can send those measurements along to the proponent and to ensure that those measurements are met with any introduction to a new handicap parking. Thank you.
So my other question to Jennifer is, they're moving it from the front of the building almost up to the street. Is a requirement through the province or the town as to a certain distance from the building, that's all.
Yeah, Jennifer, I think Brent's question was, does the accessibility parking have to be, is there regulations that it has to be beside the door, or is it okay to be pushed out to where the applicant has indicated out by the entrance to the, from off the main drag? I guess while Jennifer's, while she's waiting, I think that.
Thank you,
can-
Mr.
oh,
Chair. Yes, the requirement is for the handicap parking. It's suggested for it to be close to the door. There's no real hard and fast requirement that it needs to be there. It's a suggestion that it be closest to the door.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. I would assume that if either if we're making a recommendation now, there's one there already that's just across the parking lot, so maybe we can, if we're gonna make a recommendation in favor, that we can ensure that the applicant meets the requirements of the parking and work with the town to ensure that it's in proper location, so. With that being said, any further questions from PAC members? Kendall?
My question to staff is we knew there was existing patio there before. What was the size permitted historically in that parking lot? Like, is there a certain size that's permitted, or we're asking the applicant for dimensions, but is there a size that we know is permitted?
You got a question?
For the applicant, again, just looking at the size of the patio, kind of in line with what Kendall asked, your patio coming out from the building will not go past the edge of the
No,
current parking stall.
no, and it'll be 1 foot in on
Through
either
you,
side.
Mr. Chair.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for your patience, everyone. To be honest, I was not aware that there was a patio there before. I did not see that in my research. In terms of a patio size, that's again something that I have never seen, that there is a size restriction to a patio. I guess what I was trying to get across, and I'm sorry if I confused anyone with mixing the parking and the drive aisles, but my greatest concern is for the safety of the patrons sitting in the proposed patios and the cars that go past there to get to parking stalls and backing out of parking stalls. How closely will those cars come to those tables? That is my concern. As you explained earlier, the other patio was sort of around the corner and tucked in underneath where the mural is. Where it's being suggested, as far as I can tell, and not having seen Plan B, My concern is just that cars trying to navigate through the parking lot and backing in and out of parking stalls very closely to patrons sitting at tables. So this is why I wanted engineering to review the measurements of the drive aisle to make sure there was enough room for cars to back in and out, to drive by, to come into the lot and make the turn without bumping into somebody. So that's really where my concern is. And I'd like to have a site plan that shows it all very clearly so that engineering could review and make sure that public safety is our number one concern here. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer. It's the chairman here. The applicant did state that it's going to be fenced in. The patio is fenced in, and it's not tables sitting out in the open area. So I don't know if that helps address your concerns. And that's one of the recommendations that if PAC suggests that we're going to recommend it, we'll make sure that, you know, the applicant sends in the applicable dimensions with the plan. Kendall?
Mr. Chairman, to staff, I guess, or maybe it's to you, can we provide approval based on the engineering department giving the final blessing, or?
We can make a recommendation that we approve it as long as all conditions are met with the town for access to handicap parking. I think that's what the applicant's asking for, so they can work with the town to get this worked out and get things moving. Yes, not a problem, Kendall, we can do that. Because we're making a recommendation that, you know, all those items get approved.
If all the safety items.
Safety items, the parking,
parking.
the drawing, you know, an updated drawing sent so they can have an updated drawing. I think that would, rather than coming back, help expedite the process. So if everything is in place, they can proceed to have a patio for enjoy this season. Any other questions from PAC? Is there anyone in the audience willing to speak for or against this item? Is there anyone in the audience willing to speak for or against this item? Third and final time, is there anyone in the audience or online willing to speak for or against this item? None being, would a member of PAC like to put a motion for or against with terms and conditions, please? Member of PAC like to put a motion for or against with terms and conditions, please? We can make sure everything's all looked after either way, so if someone wants to put a motion for or against, or someone wants it tabled or deferred.
I can
Kendall?
try to put some sort of motion together, but I'll probably need a lot of people's help. I recommend that the Planning Advisory Committee approve the application for a patio at, sorry, 170 Hampton Road. Based on the proper staff reviewing the application and the following conditions. Number one, that a site plan be provided with detailed measurements to staff to allow engineering to review all safety concerns regarding traffic movement. Number two, the parking, the number of parking stalls and the proper handicap parking location be approved by the town or the provincial responsible department in the province. number 3, there must be a building permit required for the patio. And it be built according to the National Building Code. Not sure if there's any others you recommend. Is there a noise bylaw that needs to be adhered to?
A what bylaw?
A noise bylaw for the
Yeah.
patio?
I believe it has to meet the bylaw, noise bylaw within the town.
Sorry, I didn't look into what we'd do if we approved it.
Okay. Thanks, Kendall. Can I have a seconder on that? Brent? Oh. Brent?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any debate on the motion?
Mr. Chairman, as part of that motion, should it be conditional use from May to October?
Yes, it's valid.
Yes, I agree.
Hang on, I'm trying to get down here.
Something about the music, when's that has to stop?
You're doing that.
Is there any music outside?
Hang on, Go ahead, Brenda.
I was asking if you're planning on having music outside for the diners. If so, it should be quiet down around 10 o'clock, I think was what we put on the patio for Amici's. It had to be stopped in at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can totally do that.
So,
Yep, 10 o'clock. Is that no music or just low? I would just have speakers probably outside. Live music wouldn't be happening very often, and if it does, it would usually be done by 10 o'clock anyways, but I'm just wondering if music has to stop altogether.
That would have to meet the town's bylaws. There's a bylaw for that for town. It's in the town bylaws, but that can be shared with you, so make
Okay.
sure you ask for that.
Yep, for sure.
Jennifer wants to talk, so go ahead, Jennifer.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to add that hours of operation, but I think that perhaps you've already come to terms with that. Brenda brought that up, I see, just a moment ago. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll make sure that's in there, that it meets the town's hours of operation. Any other question on the debate from Brent? Do you have something or no?
I think I was gonna say it's sort of a bit different from this application than Amici's was. Amici's butts right up against a residential neighborhood, and that's where the concern about the noise bylaw applies more in that situation probably than this one where it's,
Out the street.
yeah, everything's street facing and
Yeah.
building behind you, so.
Still the same building though.
Yeah.
Respect to land use? It's still the same.
This has to meet the bylaws of the town. Any other further debate? None being, can we vote, please? Oh, Darren, you go ahead, Darren.
I just have one more, I guess, on that, just a recommendation, that you go look at Google Earth at the 2013 map, because I still think traffic flow and safety, which seems to be a big part of everybody's concerns, where it had a low fence, had a white little, whatever, could be black or gray to blend in with the mural. But it seemed to be, from the pictures, that maybe it might have been a little bit better for traffic flow. Just out there.
Let's have a look.
Yes, I can do that. I will say, if you don't mind, I mentioned obviously uptown, the patios up there. There are people parallel parking, ripping around, doing all the crazy wild stuff on very busy streets. And I'm sure that there was some sort of safety plan that was brought into play there as well. And for us, we're in a much smaller footprint. So I think that safety is obviously our biggest concern, but we'll definitely look at that.
Thank you. Any further debate? None being, can we vote, please? Motion carried unanimously, 4-0. So congratulations, in 5 to 7 business days, you'll have a letter in the mail, but please work with the town. As we mentioned in the drawing, work away, get your drawing in right away, send those right, I know Violet has them, but if there's anything that changes to that,
Oh, I have them on mine. Maybe I didn't put them over on yours. I'll get different ones to you tomorrow.
yeah, please work with the town to make sure you get all necessary paperwork, get on that right away. Everything, would work toward your advantage. The sooner you can get all that stuff in and get everything all looked after, so.
Amazing.
And make sure the landlord's fully aware of what's happening. I'm sure the town will too, so.
Yeah.
Best of luck, and hopefully things work out for you on the outdoor patio.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We'll move on to item 8. Can I have a motion to receive and file? Seconder, Brenda?
Second that.
Okay, all in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Item 9, adjournment. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Bishop?
So moved.
Can I have a seconder on that? Brenda?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Motion carried. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. Once we're offline, I got a question for everyone, so.